Hey guys, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is DeLady Designer, and we are back with the very last speed build video of Inama Zoo. And first of all, to honor this series, in case you have not seen it yet, I have this really cool Inama Zoo design made for mugs, t-shirts, and those kind of things. If you want to honor Inama Zoo, if you like it, definitely go and check it out with the link in the description to Teespring, my merchandise store. I really love the design, and it's definitely just fitting a lot with Inama Zoo, so it's really cool. So yeah, make sure to check that out, obviously. So in this episode, we're going to build a shared habitat for the ostrich, the warthog, black wildebeest, zebra, and the Thomson gazelle. These are the animals that we have right now in this shared habitat. As I said, this is the very last episode or very last speed build video of Inama Zoo. So the next episode is going to be a cinematic video of the whole zoo, and we're also going to make a POV, so an on-ride video for the Jeep Safari itself. So that is going to be super exciting, and then we're just really done with this series. I still can't believe it. I keep saying it now for the third time, and I'm still like, is this really a thing? Yes, it is. We are coming at the end of this series. This is just incredible. So yeah, as you can tell, we already had like this big mountain section like at the beginning of the river, I should say. And this was meant to be some kind of big waterfall. So that is basically what we're going to do. First, I thought I should like make the whole terrain super straight to add the waterfall to it, and later I thought no, I'm going to use that trick from Pond Zoo with the glassy wall. That is going to be so much easier. Then cover it up with a lot of flat rocks, then create the waterfall out of the V of axis, and then just copy paste the whole thing around to, I think it's 5 or 6 different angles. And I think it looks really cool. It's definitely the biggest waterfall we have ever built in Planet Zoo at this point. It's probably not the biggest waterfall that has ever been built. I'm pretty sure that there are people that made even bigger waterfalls. But yeah, I really do like the way how this is looking. And like this river goes through the whole zoo basically. So it will go through the elephant and giraffe habitat, then go through the hippo habitat, and it will end at the flamingo habitat, the episode that we did before this episode. So yeah, I think this is just a really cool and beautiful connection, and really every habitat has its own piece of river. It's really all having a different style, and I just really love it. So I think it's just super cool to see everything now really, I can finally say it, really coming along nicely together. Do I even say that right? I'm not really sure if I do, but yeah, I'm just super excited to share this with you guys. So the edges of the waterfall itself is mostly rock. I wanted to make sure that it's steep enough to make sure that the animals are not able to get onto this mountain, because this is definitely not part of their habitat, and there's also a piece of this mountain going through the cheetah habitat a little bit, so you really want to avoid having animals going up onto the mountain. Now on top of it, I did use a piece of... I did make this kind of water section. It's obviously not really realistic. There should be like a big river or anything, but we don't really have space for that. And in the end, from the Jeep Safari itself or from the path, you will not see what is on top of it. So it's basically obviously a fake waterfall, just like everything is fake in this game. But yeah, just so you know, I didn't pay too much attention to that water section on top of it. I decorated a lot with rocks around it, and later on also with some trees and shrubs, because those are the things that you will be seeing when you would be on the path, for example, or from the Jeep. So I wanted to make sure that there was some more green on top of the waterfall, if that makes sense. Now the V-axis is kind of a thing, I'm not really sure. There's like this part halfway on top where you see more rock than the rest of the waterfall. It really bugged me, and I really tried to fix it, but it wasn't really possible. The only thing I could do to make it less bad was like moving some rocks from the backside a little bit further away, but still there's this thing with these V-axes that really annoyed me, but it is what it is. I can't really help it. There are no other waterfalls in the game. Well, there are from the aquatic pack, but they definitely do not fit in this zoo, so I'm not going to use those. But I have to live with the fact that there's this really weird thing. You can't see it from the side, but from the front, I don't know, there's something off with it and it annoys me. So yeah, as I said, there's not really that much space to create some kind of river or something from the waterfall itself. As you may see during the speed build, there is actually really not that much space to do anything with the station from the Jeep. There's also a tunnel for the staff to go underneath the ground, because there's like this whole tunnel system underneath the ground for the keepers to get to certain places, to certain habitats and stuff. And then we also have this queue line for the station of the Jeep Safari and the station itself. And yeah, there is basically not that much space because this is like right next to the entrance. I really don't understand why I didn't put everything a little bit further away, but that is like talking when you're almost finished. But yeah, that kind of bugged me. I didn't really have space to take from the habitat itself. So yeah, I had to work with this, and I decided to go for like this big mountain and just hide everything away in some kind of cave. I'm going to be honest, you can definitely call me the lazy designer instead, because in this case, I did not do too much of decorating in the cave. I'm not even sure if I'm going to do that before I upload it. Like, I don't know. I made everything look clean and nice from the front where the people enter the queue line, and also where the staff goes into the ground. You barely see that. So I think it just looks neat. Definitely not what I wanted it to be, but there just wasn't just any way of hiding everything away or doing some things differently. So this was like the most easiest solution to just get away of all the mess that I've built in this zoo. And the most important things are, in the end, the habitat itself where the animals are walking. So I guess it is all good, and I hope you guys can forgive me for that. But yeah, we now have one big cave system underneath a big mountain. But I am really happy with how the mountain is looking, to be honest. I think it definitely fits, and it's not really that bad. So I think we really can live with this. This is only the beginning area of the Jeep Safari itself, so I guess it's okay. So I did try to add a little bit more detail into the waterfall. There was not really that much possible, but I did really wanted to add a little bit more rocks and stuff on top of the waterfall, just to give the feeling that the waterfall's a little bit divided, that they're going through some rocks, if that makes any sense. So I do really like how that has turned out, obviously. And also there is this Jeep Safari going through this habitat. What do you know? And this was the last piece of track that we had to hide away. So everything right now is covered underneath terrain. So it really gives the feeling that you're just thriving through this zoo without really a track under it. So you will see a few bits and pieces of the track, and that is mostly at some bridges, obviously at the station, and the area where the Jeep goes from one habitat through those big gates to another habitat. If I would cover that up with terrain, I would probably end up with having animals being able to escape anyways. I'm not really sure, so I made sure that there was more of like this gap in between, because some habitats also don't have that gate in between. But I really had to make sure, especially for the cheetah and for the African wild dogs, to make sure that they were not able to escape or any animals go into their habitats, especially the warthogs, which are just super naughty. So yeah, I really, I'm not really the happiest person about these big gates, but it is what it is. I have to live with that. It works like we have it right now. Talking about the African wild dogs, by the way, I got cute little puppies, but they were able to escape from so many angles, so I had to remove them from the zoo, unfortunately. I really didn't want to go back to that habitat. There were so many angles that I was like, no, I'm just not going to do that. But talking about escaping, you guys know how often I had issues with the warthog. But in this case, the warthog, I was finally able to fix this habitat, which this is their original habitat. But they were always able to escape to the hippos, to the African elephants, and those kind of things. But I finally now was able to fix this issue with the Warthog. So that is at least a good thing. We don't have any escaping Warthogs anymore. Even, I think we also have babies, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, so far it looks all to be working, at least in this habitat. So of course, throughout the whole habitat, I used a lot of the blueprints that I've been using throughout the whole zoo. I will obviously make sure that all these patches of elephant grass and trees and bushes and those kind of things will all be uploaded in one collection list together with the zoo file. I will upload all of this when I'm going to upload the safari POV itself and when I'm going to upload the cinematic video. Once those are up, you will also find a link in those video descriptions with the collection list to the workshop. So stay tuned for that. It will come probably in a week or two when you're watching this video. So yeah, then it's finally time to upload some stuff again for you guys to the workshop, because I don't really do that often. I know many people keep asking me, do you upload things to the workshop? Yes, I do, but only when something is finished. So that is why. But finally, you guys are able to get your hands at least on these African patches and stuff. So hopefully you guys will like that. And of course, I use a lot of the aquatic rocks to create that depth and that amount of detail in this habitat. I should actually go through the whole zoo, because obviously we have a whole part of the zoo that we did not use them for. There's also a little part of the zoo where I started using the temple little rock thingies. It doesn't look super great comparing to this, but I'm just not going to touch that anymore. I'm not going to replace everything. It's going to take me tons of hours of time to replace all those rocks or add a lot of rocks in the African and giraffe. But who knows? Maybe when I start to record cinematic shots, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take this whole afternoon to add all these small little rocks and details, the last bits and pieces of Inama Zoo. I'm not really sure if I will, but who knows? I might. And obviously, throughout the whole habitat, there were already some enrichment items and some feeders and stuff, and I didn't really touch too many of those. I just added a few more. Like, the only difference which we have right now with before we start building this episode is that the keeper was able to walk behind the terrain section there where the waterfall was supposed to be. But now that is all closed because that is now a whole mountain. So I was not able to put any enrichment items with like food or drinks on the other side of the river section. So everything is now in front, but that's I think that's fine. Like, we have some toys at the Jeep Safari track, and then all the other feeders and enrichment items are closer to the path. So the guests can see the animals up close from the path section itself, which is also somehow a main feature of our zoo, obviously. So we still have like this big dome. We don't have any shops or anything. I do know that we were talking about that in the beginning of the season, if we wanted to do something with some shops and those kind of things. I think I actually added a few vending machines, but I think I'm actually going to remove those and there just won't be any shop. Yeah, I know it's cruel, but I feel like this should be just something more natural. Like, the only non-natural thing would be that big dome shady thing, but I don't know. I feel like I should just remove it, or the vending machines. I don't know. I might not. I don't know. I really don't know. But I do remember that we spoke about that. I know that a lot of people also asked me to make like this cute little African village and those kind of things. And I did like the idea, but I really wanted to avoid to do any more buildings in this zoo, if that makes any sense. So like, we have the big dome, and that is the main area of the zoo, the main feature in the middle of the zoo, but the rest are all natural things, and that is definitely something I had in my mind. And I know that we had a lot of different plans. I really tried to recreate a lot of real biomes from Africa, and that is where we started with. We actually started with 2 or 3 episodes, which I really tried to focus on the real life biomes and those kind of things, but that really felt like it was hurting my creativity feeling of going through with this zoo. So there was a huge gap of a few months in between the first few episodes and the episodes you're watching right now. There was a huge gap because I just didn't really feel it. There were not that many biomes of Africa that I really felt like I could use this, I can recreate this or anything like that. So I really made it just harder for myself to continue this series, and that is definitely something I've learned. Whatever you're doing in Planet Zoo, if you're restricting yourself too much, for example, because you really want to go into realistic zoo and then you find yourself being like, oh, but this is not possible, or it just really strangles your creativity, then just let it go. Really, that is the best advice I can give you. There are obviously people that just really love to recreate real life zoos and they don't have any creativity issues. But if you find yourself having creativity issues because you're giving yourself too many restrictions, let it go and just go. Did anyone else hear that song? Okay. Let it go. And just go and build how you want to build and let go of that little bit of realism, because that really helped me to actually finish this zoo. This is the second season we are finishing right now. The first season was Mainland Zoo, which was a tropical Asian zoo. Definitely something I still really, really love. I would love to do some kind of Mainland Zoo too, but then with way more details and those kind of things. But no, I'm never going back to Mainland Zoo. No, I know that a few people keep asking me like, well, we now have so many new DLCs, can't you add more animals in Mainland Zoo? I'm definitely not. The Mainland Zoo is finished. I'm super proud of Mainland Zoo. It was my first zoo. And now we're just going to continue. We have the safari boat ride, which is almost finished. We just started Ponte Zoo, which is more of a taiga biome with the aquatic pack. And we also have City Zoo, which is the longest running series on the channel right now. Something I'm still super proud of. And yeah, we're still working on that. And we're going to start new zoos. We're going to start a new zoo for Inama Zoo in place of Inama Zoo once this one is completely wrapped up with the cinematic shots and the on-ride POV. So we're going to start a new zoo then, and we're also going to start a new zoo very soon when the safari boat ride is completely finished. I think that will be around 5 more episodes or something like that. Don't pin me on it, but something like that. So there is just still a lot of new stuff coming up and new stuff I really want to try. So yeah, I'm just super excited for everything else that we're going to do in Planet Zoo. But for now, Inama Zoo is finished. I really want to thank you guys so much for joining me during this beautiful African journey we had in Planet Zoo. I really enjoyed. I really hope you guys did too. Do let me know in the comment section down below and leave a like at the video if you guys enjoyed. As I said, to honor Inama Zoo, go check out my merch store. The link is in the description down below. And if you want to support the channel in a different way, you can also join my FaveFam members with the join button of YouTube or maybe via Patreon. And you can also find me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All those links are also down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching and all your amazing support throughout this series. And I really hope to see you guys all in the next one. Bye guys!